The Metis Tech Show.
Welcome to the Metis Tech Show, a show for HVAC professionals by HVAC professionals.
I like how you guys bounce back and forth between heat pump talk and food talk.
The Metis Tech Show.
So
Juan, I'm pretty excited. We are coming upon our August instructor meeting. It's actually not an instructor meeting; it's a training meeting, right? It's everybody,
right.
It's all the admins. It's Bryn's team, the should say Lowell's team, the instructional design people, right?
Which now includes Bryn.
Right. So something I get really excited about at the instructor or training meeting, I should say. I keep saying instructor meeting. We have two other instructor meetings throughout the year. But this is the training meeting. I get very excited for the barbecue that we have midweek. And last year was, it's quite a task to go out and find all the food. It's a little different.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I just in Georgia, sometimes it's like hit or miss. You got tons of meats and kebabs and like different things. I like to do like the bacon wrapped jalapenos and all those little items on the grill. And just as they come off the grill, everybody's kind of picking at it, and it's just a lot of protein. Yeah, we got burgers and dogs and stuff, but I like all that other stuff. So sometimes at Kroger's is our supermarket there in Georgia. Sometimes they have tons of this stuff. Sometimes they don't. But yeah, I'm wicked excited about that. And this year I'm going to try and go on Monday and do a little research and hit a couple of supermarkets myself and see what they have. And if they got what I need, I'm just going to grab it and throw it in the fridge at the hotel until barbecue day. Right. Something else that Paul and I looked into. So I went in, I found this really cool website. It's Guy Fieri's, what is it, Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, his show. So I'm sorry if I said that wrong, but they have a website that is listed by state and all of the locations that they visited. So last week I was in Georgia, and I looked at this website and I said, oh man, this is perfect. Let's see what's in Georgia. And one restaurant that stuck out, and Paul and I almost made the trip, but the World Cup was going on. So we didn't want to get stuck in traffic. And it's about without traffic, this trip, it's in Marietta, Georgia, and without traffic is 35 minutes.
Yeah,
with traffic,
it's about an hour.
Yes. So it was about 55 minutes or so. And the day we were planning on going, Paul's like, hey, we might want to rethink this because, what was it? Argentina and England were playing their game in Atlanta. So yeah, we didn't want to hit that. But long story short, Marietta, there's a diner that's open 24 hours. It's gigantic. It's pretty impressive when you look at this thing online. It's just a big stainless steel monstrosity with LED lights and everything. Looks awesome. We're thinking of going there on Monday night when we all fly in. Hopefully Riz lands at a good time because he's coming from the West Coast, but I think he lands around 4 p.m. So we're going to be good. Again, it's probably going to be an hour drive, but what the heck? Right. We're all going to be tired, but I said, what the heck? Let's do it. Right. They serve everything from breakfast, lunch, and dinner 24 hours a day. You can have whatever you want. Wow. And there's cakes and there's this and there's that.
Sounds great.
Yeah. Yeah. So looking forward to that. But I wanted to pose a question to you guys. I thought about this the other day, and me and my wife were talking about, what if you owned a food truck? Because I was cooking some stuff at home, and she's like, you need to open a restaurant or have a restaurant or a food truck or something, which I would never do because it's so much work. I mean, you have to pretty much dedicate your whole life to it. But, I was thinking, Juan, if you could own a restaurant, what would it be? What kind of food would it be? And what would you have on the menu?
Well, you mentioned a food truck. I'm all about a food truck, and I would name it the Juan Cubano sandwich truck.
Okay.
And,
Number one,
number
Cubano.
one.
Number
Okay.
one.
But yeah, I mean, everywhere I go, everybody talks about the Cubano sandwich, and I would definitely have that in the menu. There's many other beef dishes that we have. Granted, it's we use spices to taste. We don't add spice for heat purposes.
Right.
We used a lot of cumin and oregano and cilantro, lots of garlic.
And citrus. Right.
Yes,
Yeah.
limes. Yeah, we used to have not used to. We can get what we called a sour orange, where we grafted an orange tree with a lime tree, and it would produce a sour orange. And you can't
Okay.
really find them fresh anymore. So the only way you get it is orange juice and lime juice, mix it together. It's not quite as tart as the lime, and it's not quite as sweet as the orange. So we used to use it as a marinade, and it was awesome.
Nice. So other than Cubanos, what would you eat for a side? What would you make for a side?
Plantains, we serve them two types. Green ones, tostones, is what we cut them in chunks and flatten them and deep fry them. And then we can wait for them to ripen and then slice them at an angle and call them sweet plantains. And they're a lot sweeter. The darker the plantain gets, the sweeter it turns. So that would be a side. We love mushrooms and onions. We add onions to everything. Rice.
Yeah.
Rice is the ticket to any Cuban meal.
Yeah, that sounds pretty easy to do from a food truck, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Bryn,
It
what
is.
about you? What kind of restaurant would you have? I want to say Italian.
No, I've actually put a lot of thought into this, and it's like it's a pipe dream kind of thing. Is chicken wings. So you get a food truck, and all you can get is chicken wings there. There's nothing else. It's just chicken wings. And what I would do is park it at college campuses or where there's bars and stuff, and wait until the late night. And the business model is there's like 40 or 50 different sauces, and it's $1
wow.
a chicken wing. And so you just pick however many wings you want. You can have each one in its own sauce, so you can have them all tossed in the same sauce. But you just hang out at like 11:30, 12 o'clock in a college area and just sell wings for $1 a piece with whatever sauce they want on them. Been my dream for a while.
Wow.
Nice.
I didn't expect that dream.
Yeah, that was that. Can't go wrong with chicken wings.
Different sauces.
That's good, Eddie.
Eddie, what do you got?
Imagine.
Yeah.
What'd you say, Bryn?
I said, just imagine when you were at college age and you were out drinking, and then
yeah.
you just see a food truck for $1 a chicken wing. You're spending $20.
If you
Awesome.
Yeah.
if you make it 50
Back in
cents,
my
I'll
days
spend
in
more.
Miami, we used to call them roach coaches.
Yeah.
An idea that I don't think I'd be the person that I wouldn't be able to be on the truck cooking, but an idea that I've seen before is a hibachi food truck. I don't know if you guys seen that, hibachi bowls. That is such a good idea. It's like a little bit more of an elegant taste, right? It's going to be a little bit more expensive for a food truck, but honestly, I've seen one actually in Steve's neck of the woods, closer to Somerset.
Next to my house.
Yeah.
Oh, next to his house.
Yeah, honestly, it's a great idea to me. You know, you could serve some hibachi, chicken, maybe not do filet mignon, but you know what I mean?
Right.
Regular steak, chicken, shrimp,
No,
some rice.
bowls are where it's
That
at
sounds
these
good.
days.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought it was a great idea.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Rice bowls.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big thing.
Have you guys ever had
Yes.
sticky mango and sticky rice?
Ooh.
Yeah,
I just saw a recipe about that.
It's a Thai. I think it's a Thai thing, but
Yeah.
I heard it's an amazing dessert, and my fiance loves it. So if you guys want to try that, I know you guys like that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I don't know. As far as if I was to do something, it probably wouldn't be a restaurant. It would probably be a food truck. And it would be Portuguese food. It would be something I'd probably, make bifanas or something. Bifana is basically marinated Portuguese steak inside of a roll, like a Portuguese roll, which is called a pop or popsic, right? And they just I think they would fly out the door.
Did you see in New York City someone came from Portugal? He called himself Mr. Bifana, and he was at the Time Out Market in New York City. Did a great job. It sounds like.
Really?
Yeah, it might be a permanent thing over there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah, that's that we have a couple of food trucks in New Bedford, and it's Two Sisters. It's called, and they make a bunch of Azorean food, and this truck serves everything. But if I had to nail down like a quintessential Portuguese food truck type food, it would have to be a bifana, with French fries or something. You
got to bring up Juan's favorite, the cod cakes. You could do that.
Oh, yeah.
You could do that easily.
Man.
Yeah,
Fry
that's
those.
good. Yeah, good point. Yeah, you can do the codfish
I cannot
cakes.
get enough of them.
But all great ideas. I think we would do very well with our
Another
food trucks.
sandwich that I would serve, we also have a sandwich called the Midnight Sandwich. It's just ham, Swiss cheese on a sweet roll.
Ooh.
And it's cooked on a sandwich press, just like it is the Cuban sandwich.
Sounds good.
But it's delicious. Yeah.
Nice. Anyway, welcome to the Metis Tech Show, everyone. We got Juan Cardona, Eddie Schaubs,
Yay.
Bryn Raptor, and myself, Steve Pimentel, on this very exciting episode. Juan is going to talk about the all new and improved Intelli-Heat PAA A-coil that we all know and love, but there's new improvements to this A-coil, Juan, and if you can kind of talk about it a little bit, and we'll try and bounce some questions off of you.
All right. Yes. So what has brought this to light is the refrigerant change, going from 410 to 454B. So the nomenclature has changed some. Compatibility is still the same cabinet sizes. I like to take this moment to remind everyone that the 1.5 ton is not compatible with a 1.5 ton outdoor unit, as the 410 model was. It's only compatible with the 2 ton outdoor unit, which is, against the norm on what we're used to. Normally we oversize the indoor coil, but in this scenario we do not. One big change that has happened is on the control module. The control module now is a lot smaller in space. It only has one circuit board versus 3. Actually has a circuit board and a relay board. But as far as the installation instructions, same positions, upflow, downflow, horizontal left and right. You still have to go through the same procedures in converting it to left-hand discharge, because it comes ready for upflow and right-hand with some modification. But for left-hand discharge, you still have to move the horizontal drain pan over to the left-hand side. So there's still that. It still has the on vertical applications, on downflow applications, the panels, the U-bends, the U-bend covers that is necessary for the 3 and the 4 ton. One item that this coil has that the 410 did not have, of course, is the refrigerant sensor.
Okay.
And the refrigerant sensor comes installed, tucked into the back of the front, not the cover, but the front panel of the coil. And so when you remove that front panel, you should be careful, because the sensor is right attached to that panel. And when you convert it to horizontal left, the location of that refrigerant sensor changes to the opposite side of that panel. And there are, pre-drill openings for that. I mean, the wire is long enough for you to do that easily and so forth. But the ideal thing is the size of the module that has decreased in size. And now the cover, instead of 4 screws where you remove the cover and get it out of your way, now the cover actually is hinged and it opens so you can have full access to the 2 circuit boards.
Okay. All right. So going back to that refrigerant sensor, is it set up for upflow right out of the box?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So we're going to have the contractor's going to have to move it for left horizontal, right horizontal, and downflow?
Downflow, it stays where it's at.
Okay, good. Good to know.
Yep.
So as far as accessories, it looks like it's the same accessories as the 410A model.
Yes. You still have the thermostat interface you can use. You can use an MA controller. You can use any control, any one of the controls. It's got a CN105 connector on it.
Okay.
It's got the, go ahead, Bryn, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. I was just going to mention it. The accessories bag that the unit comes with has all those same L brackets and your NAT sensor, which is basically your construction thermostat. So it has all those same components in the install bag that the previous generation had. Some of them required to be installed. Some are just accessories if needed. So,
Juan,
and you still need the return sensor and the NAT sensor on the bracket. Unless you're using, like the 410, a third-party thermostat for your emergency operation.
Juan, what would you say is the biggest upgrade that happened from, the biggest change in the coil from previous generation to this one? Other than the
one
refrigerant.
that was requested the most had to do with balance point setting.
Oh.
Now you can set the balance point just straight on outdoor ambient.
Oh, that's nice.
Excellent.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And that's what heat pumps have been known to be operating under for years and decades. So now you can just operate the system on economic balance point alone.
Wow.
So we're going to get,
that's one thing.
We're going to dive into that, I think, a little later. I want to get a little more in depth with the economic balance point, capacity balance point, if it even exists. The differences with the 410A and the 454B. But Juan, if you can you run through the sizes that are available and how the cabinet sizes work?
Okay, absolutely. So the cabinet sizes are nominal. They're 14.5 inch, they're 17.5 and 21 inches. So it's available from 1.5 tons through 3.5 tons. In the 14.5 inch cabinet, it's available on 1.5 tons, 2 tons, and 2.5. On the 17.5, you've got the 1.5 ton, the 2 ton, the 2.5 ton, and actually all the sizes, the 3.5 ton as well. And then on the 21 inch cabinet, that cabinet is available on the 3 ton and the 3.5 ton.
Okay, and those are designated by A, B, and C cabinets. So A,
Correct.
14.5, B, 17.5, and C, 21 inches.
Yeah,
and that's
part of the
standard.
nomenclature.
Yeah. Those cabinet sizes are basically standard across the industry, correct?
Yes, because that's typical, the 3 width for gas furnaces being used on the market today.
Awesome. Okay. So what can contractors...
oil furnaces?
Bryn?
What about oil furnaces? Can we put them on oil furnaces yet?
No, it's still not acceptable in oil furnaces because of the hotter supplier temperatures.
Okay.
Got
All
it.
right. Last I heard, we're working on that. We're trying to make something that is compatible with oil. And that's huge because there is a very big oil market here, at least here in the Northeast.
Very
and I
large.
think in your neck of the woods too, Juan.
Yes, it is. One more thing that I need to insert here that we don't talk about that is used a lot in the industry are UV lights. inducted systems. And our products are not UV rated. So for the moment, so we don't recommend or use the use of UV lights in the PAA coil.
That's actually a great thing to bring up. Contractors nowadays are using those so often, and
Yes.
the damage I've seen done to coils is crazy from those UV lights. So if it's not rated for it, don't do it.
The critical part also, not critical part, I don't mean to be critical, is airflow, like every ducted system. So the airflow range, as it was on the 410, is 350 to 400 CFMs per ton. On the downflow application, though, we want the velocity to be maintained at no more than 350 feet per minute to prevent water blow off. Again, that's not a change from the 410 model.
Okay. Now, Juan, what type of furnaces can the PAA connect to and be compatible with?
Any gas furnace. What we normally use is the blower speeds, but even on a belt-driven motor, you can adjust the speed by adjusting the pulley on the motor. But preferably is the two-speed motor, because we can use lower speed at low capacity and higher speeds at higher capacity. Like mine, for instance, at my home, I had an X13, a single-speed X13 motor or standard ECM, and it was only using one speed. So what I did was I connected Y2 straight to the higher speed on the ECN motor, because it's a 24-volt motor.
I gotcha. Yeah.
So I converted that single-speed motor into a two-speed motor.
And so
you can do that. You can change that. That is changed through two functions. That's functions 8 and 10 to set that speed.
And basically we can use Y1 and Y2 at that point, right?
Correct. Yeah, the G-coil, you do have a G-coil in case you want to run the fan continuously. The G-coil typically goes with Y1 or Y.
All right. Excellent. Juan, can you get into the logic that we were talking about earlier, the economic balance point, and does the control board still have capacity balance point?
Yes. So right now, like I said, you can actually select among several options as to what balance point you want to set it. And we do have the capacity balance point is still available if you prefer to have the system operate under that balance point setting or logic. But the settings for the standard heat pumps for the economic balance point are -13, 5, 9, 14, 23, 32, and the default is one thing to note. The default for the 410 model used to be 32 degrees. The default for the 454B model is 41. So that's something to take a note on. So that's for standard heat pumps. Actually, I take that back. The -13 balance point is for hyperheat. Okay. The lowest the balance point is for a standard heat pump is 5 degrees. So that is set on modes 14, which selects either a hyperheat or a standard heat pump, and then modes 8 and 10 sets your temperature. And then on the thermostat interface, you have to set your dip switches through the thermostat interface.
Right.
And I was wrong before. I said modes 8 and 10 on the fan speed is mode 23. So I need to correct that.
Yes. So What happened with the A2L Intelli-Heat is we are offering more balance point options and
Yes.
differentiating. So with the 410A, it was just modes 8 and 10 to set your balance point. Now it's 8, 10, and 14, which if you're using an MA controller like the MHK2, for example, it's just navigating to those modes and setting it for what it's supposed to be to get your desired economic balance point. You need the PAC 446 if you're using third-party thermostat interface, because we have the added function setting. A PAC 445 is not going to work for you because we don't have a dip switch to set mode 14 on the PAC 445.
Correct.
So A2L Intelli-Heat, we need the PAC 446 so that we have all the dip switch configurations for the new function settings related to that Intelli-Heat. And ultimately, economic balance point, if you haven't listened to our previous podcast about it, that's just a balance point like any other case coil. So it's at what outside temperature do we stop running the heat pump and start running our gas furnace? It's just a outdoor ambient temperature that creates that difference of what equipment we operate during that outside temperature. Capacity balance point, a little different. So Juan, you want to talk about capacity balance point?
Well, before that, if I may, let me just so we can have all the functions together. The crucial function settings are modes 8, 10, and 14 for the economic balance point. Okay. Mode 9 turns on and off the delay for the furnace. So that's if you want to operate the system by economic balance point only, you turn mode 9 on. Mode 23 is for either single or dual speed fan motor or operation. And then mode 25 and 27 is for your thermal off, as to when the blower motor shuts off after thermal is satisfied.
Okay.
So the about the capacity balance point. The capacity balance point is, as far as functionality, is if the kit or if the system is unable to heat the space, most likely due to insufficient heating capacity at the current outdoor temperature. The unit records or memorizes the current outdoor temperature as the capacity balance point, and then switches to heating by the furnace. Once that capacity balance point switches to that gas furnace, as it does it in the economic balance point, the gas furnace remains in the heating mode until thermal is satisfied. Not like a typical heat pump with an electric furnace or electric heater where it bounces back and forth on the economic balance point. Once the gas furnace is energized, the gas furnace stays on for the remainder of the thermal requirement.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, that capacity balance point has been improved since the 410A model, correct?
Yes.
Not only that, but now we give the customer the choice of whether or not they want to use the capacity balance point. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one.
Yeah, right now, we used to really sway even deeper than 3 degrees of set point. Now we keep it within 3 degrees of set point, plus we give you an additional adjustable reaction. Now you can set that function setting as either to switch over at 19 minutes, 44 minutes, even 59 minutes. But from set point to the droop, and I'm calling it for lack of a better word, is a lot tighter now. It's 3 degrees where it used to be deeper than that.
I gotcha. But we can also go in and set it to EBP, to the economic balance point only, and it disables the capacity balance point.
Absolutely.
Which I think is music to my ears. And, maybe that we don't want that system self-learning and unlearning. And controlling its own balance point. We want control of it. We want to be able to just use simple outside air temperature where the furnace, if it can't keep up when the heat pump can't keep up, the furnace will kick in, and vice versa.
Yeah, and that's where mode 9 comes in. You can turn that capacity balance point on and off by using mode 9.
Awesome. That's the
We
huge
used to
one.
actually run into that. Yeah, we used to run into that when we would install, depending on the fuel type of the furnace, we were required to have certain balance points for rebate purposes too. So the capacity balance point was causing some issues with that. Now in Massachusetts, they're kind of just saying you got to rip it out to get rebate. But before, when they were doing these partial rebate things, they would say, you're using natural gas, which means 5 degrees has to be your balance point. You're not allowed to go above that or below that. So, well, below is okay, but above not. So that was another reason for getting rid of it. Now, the only drawback, in my opinion, to the economic balance point is that if you choose to go that route and your heat pump can't keep up and you are above the set point for your balance, above your balance point, your system will not switch to your gas furnace until the return air temperature is 46 degrees or below.
Yep.
So that's the consideration you have to make, is you really have to make sure you set that balance point correctly, that, if your heat pump's not going to be able to keep up, it's not switching to the gas furnace until the return air temperature senses 46 degrees. So that can be corrected with a properly set balance point.
Right. And also to mention regarding that is, in northern states, you normally would size your capacity on the heating side than you would on your cooling side. Because states that have more of a heating requirement, you would tend to lean on your heating capacity versus your cooling capacity.
That makes sense. Now, there's also options like any of our units, the CN25 for humidifier control, and we can use in conjunction with CNF. That's for our humidistat connection. So if you have a third-party humidifier and you want the logic on our boards to take control of that humidifier, why not, right? It's a great option, as well as ERV. It's a great place to connect our Lossney, our residential Lossney, that we're really excited about. Then we just had an episode on that recently.
And you can also use the same CN25 on dehumidifiers.
Okay, yeah.
Which is big nowadays with homes being built so tight.
Right, right. Now, I just spoke with early this morning. One of our service techs was here, Chris Bill, and we were speaking to him, and he mentioned the amount of issues that he's seeing in the field, and this is just an ongoing thing across the country, is no one's checking static. Can you talk about that a little bit? Juan,
Absolutely.
Does anything change with the PAA with checking static? Do we not have to check static on the PAA?
It's a ducted unit.
Yes.
Static is everything. I mean, static is airflow. And I in my classes, I talk a lot about that. It's not just the PAA coil, it's every ducted system, whether it's an air handler or a ceiling concealed. Anytime you connect a duct system to one of our units, you're adding static. So you've got to measure it. And the only way to know is to actually measure it. You can't just feel the air coming out of the register and say, I've got enough. Well, but what is enough? You got to measure that static and take it to the blower curves in the service manual and plot what you're actually getting from that system. Because in some cases, we may be getting way too much air. And then we may be making some sound at the register, some whistling sound. That's because the static was never tested or checked. So we could throttle that fan speed or the static down. So yeah, static is very important in a ducted system.
Yeah, and there's a misconception out there that units come preset. Well, and news for you, when you put ductwork on any ducted system, you have to check the static pressure. You have to check your airflow.
Absolutely.
Make sure you have enough airflow going across the coil. You're removing enough heat from the air. You're not and if it's too high, you're not blowing water off of the coil, which can cause other issues.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the most, other than Second to installation, second to proper installation is proper startup. And taking your static pressure is part of that startup.
I was actually just in.
Realistically,
Sorry. Yeah, I was just in
you're good.
Upper Michigan. Speaking of static pressure, there was a tool that they talked about, which was I thought really interesting. I'm just going to bring it up lightly. It was TrueFlow is a grid kit. So basically, it was like this little square piece that you put into the ductwork, and it comes with a gauge, and it will just check the.
I've
while
seen
it's
that.
running. Have you seen it?
I've seen
Very-
it on
very
TikTok,
interesting.
and I
Yeah.
think Ty Brenneman had one in his hand in one of
Did
his
he?
videos. Yeah,
They brought it up at the
Interesting.
heat pump summit. I thought it was
Right.
a really cool tool, like great for these type of situations and install. Like you should have that type of tool.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that is
Was
cool.
that checking? Was that checking static different parts of the ductwork? Is that what the design of that was, or?
Yeah, so from my understanding, when he was explaining it, it was like you would install one at your return, one at your supply, I'm pretty sure. And it was like this little grid piece. It literally looked like a filter. Just install it, boom. And it has a little gauge on it. That's it.
And you leave it installed.
I don't know for how long. That I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's,
Traverse method.
yeah, it's like a
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
traversing a duct. Yeah. Yep.
Yep.
What were you going to say, Bryn? Sorry, I cut you off.
Oh, well, I was just saying that capacity is related to your airflow. So when we list our capacities and we tell you we need X amount of CFM per ton, you don't get the capacity if you don't have the proper CFM. So just keep that in mind when you have the service calls where they say, oh, it doesn't even matter if it's ours or another manufacturer. My coil's not keeping up. It's not getting cool enough in the space. Well, the capacity of that coil is based on the proper airflow over it. So if it's rated for 350 CFM per ton and you've got a 2 ton, you need 700 CFM. Otherwise, you're not getting the, 2 tons.
Right.
So just be aware of that stuff, and I tell people all the time, if you get a service call for any of our ducted units that are underperforming, the first thing you should be doing is not pulling out your gauges. It should be pulling out your manometers. Do a quick static check. Make sure that you have proper airflow over that coil before you start changing anything with the refrigerant charge.
Exactly. Yeah, because if the airflow is not right, the refrigerant charge is not going to be right, or the cooling capacity, or even the heating capacity. I've been on many jobs where the duct system has been marginal at best, and then on the gas heating side, they're tripping high limit switches, and on the heat pump side, they're tripping high pressure switches, and then they're wondering what's going on. And then I'm measuring static pressures like 1.2.
Right. And changing your static, changing your airflow, you're going to have a lot of different brand furnaces, but you're either going to be changing that with, like Juan mentioned earlier, in the most basic system, a belt-driven system. You're adjusting a pulley, or with an ECM motor, you're basically going in and either flipping dip switches or you're digitally changing the settings. And then if you're old school like me with the PSC motor, you got speed taps. You got low, medium, high, and high speed, and you're just basically moving connectors, the stake-on connectors. You're just moving them to the different speeds. And there's little park settings where you park the wires that you're not using. So, ton of different ways to change that.
A couple of other changes that the A12 PAA coil has is we no longer have a keypad like the 410 model used to have. Now we just have an LED indicator that if everything is okay, it's going to be lit with a green color, and if it's an error, it'll be red. So that's the only visual you have there. Also, the wires from the outdoor unit to the indoor unit on a 1-to-1, which the outdoor unit will be a PUZ or a PUY. We're no longer using S1. We're only using S2 and S3 for communication.
Okay.
And one thing that I love is on the field wiring, on the thermostat wires, we no longer have screw terminals. Now we have push spring-loaded terminals.
Oh, nice.
Which I love because they're a lot solid, they're a lot better connection, and so forth.
Yeah. So that 24 volts from the furnace is powering our boards. So we don't need the 208 like we used to with previous generation. Everything's being powered off that low voltage, which is great because we just have to run S2, S3. But it's something to be aware of, and it happened with the 410A equipment too. Is that you lose the power to the boards if the fuse inside the gas furnace blows.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was something that would come up. Is they would change out a thermostat, just like we've seen all the time with like Nest thermostats or the EcoBees, where they don't power down the system before they install the thermostat, and we blow that fuse on the furnace. Well, what'll happen on our equipment is you'll lose all your lights on our control box. So, that's the other part of it, is that because we're actually powering those boards with the 24 volts, just because you have no lights on the control box does not necessarily mean it's a Mitsubishi related issue. It could just be your fuse blown at the furnace. So just be aware of that stuff too.
There you go. Great troubleshooting tip right off the bat.
Yep.
No lights on your boards. Check your car fuse. Right.
Yep.
All right. Anything else,
Ask
Juan?
me how I know, Steve.
What's that? What else you got, Juan?
I think as far as changes, that's mainly it.
All right.
I think the changes that have been made have been for the better.
Mhm.
And the killer change, which I love, is the economic balance point flexibility.
Yeah. That is huge. We got a lot of complaints with the 410A system where they were kind of stuck with the logic and couldn't change that, but now they have so much more flexibility.
Yes.
The one
Absolutely.
thing that I'll mention related to the furnace wiring is that changed pretty drastically. You had mentioned it already, Juan, that we got rid of the terminal strip along the middle there, where one was from the thermostat, one was to the furnace. That has changed quite a bit. And thankfully, in the installation manual, there's a quick start guide that will have all of your wiring diagrams for that. So
Good point. Yes.
just you got to make sure you go to the install manual, because depending on if you're using a Mitsubishi controller or you're using a third-party thermostat, those wires are going to land in slightly different places. There's multiple terminal blocks, depending on what application you're using and what type of controller you're using. But thankfully, nice, clear, easy to digest wiring diagrams are going to be in the install manual for you to
Yes.
follow along with and make sure it gets wired up right.
Yep. Yeah, and hearing from the field, most of the issues that I've heard has been due to wiring.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
We actually had one of our training centers was installed by somebody who didn't read the manual, and they broke R and W with the float switch. And so I had to show them. I'm like, oh, it actually comes with a connector that goes into CN4F.
Yep.
Little gray
Yep.
and white wire, and we could just go right to the SS2 with that. We don't got to do what we do with normal case coils, which is break the heat call or break the cooling call with the float switch.
Yeah.
So read the manual. It's in there, I promise.
Absolutely.
All right. Sounds good, Juan. And I think that about does it. I think that,
Yeah, I think that's pretty much covering the whole thing.
yeah.
I think it's time to get a Cuban sandwich from Juan's food truck, huh?
Yeah.
I'm going for bacalao.
Bacalao cakes, codfish cakes,
Yes.
right? I'm looking forward to this diner. I don't know. Do you guys like diner food? What's your go-to diner food?
Speaking of diners, never been to New Jersey, never went to the training center in New Jersey. I did not know that New Jersey was the diner spot of America. Like the most diners in America is in New Jersey.
I
had no
believe
idea.
it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I had no idea. Paul and
That is interesting.
Paul and Gary were telling me, but amazing food. You can't go wrong with a diner. You have everything there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
When
all
I think
about
of a
breakfast.
diner, I'm always on breakfast food.
Yeah.
And because I
definitely.
could have breakfast 3 times a day. I just love breakfast food.
Some people love the liver and onions,
No.
beef stroganoff, and whatever's kicking around. That's their go-to stuff.
Is that what you're going to have at your diner?
I'm not having that.
Okay,
No.
thank God. Wouldn't be going.
I've been craving the liver and onions.
There's a
I told my
diner.
wife yesterday.
No.
There's a diner in
It's good for
Connecticut. What's it called? The Blue Colony Diner in Newtown, Connecticut. It's when my wife is from. And we went there last time. I forgot what I got. I think it was probably breakfast, home fries and eggs and bacon or something. No, and it was at night we were there, and she ordered poutine.
Oh, yes.
She snuck the poutine in, and I'm like, "Oh, you got to tell me these things, like before I ordered my food, that would have changed everything." But yeah, just regular hand cut fries with gravy, and it was just perfect.
Cheese curds.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to that, and I hope we don't chicken out on that Monday and say, "Oh, we're all tired, we don't want to go." No, we're going. Yeah,
you know what that reminds me of, Steve? Is remember this was a couple team meetings ago. We went to Miller's Ale House, which we mentioned probably like 40 times, and it took us about 45 minutes to get there, and it took us 14 minutes to get back.
Yes, yeah, that's the.
Didn't make any sense.
That is Georgia.
That.
That's Georgia for
I
you.
remember that.
Yeah, that's Snellville.
So what the heck? What did we miss?
Snellville, Georgia. It takes you 30 minutes to get there and 10 minutes to get back.
Wow.
It's, go through some kind of wormhole on the way back. So,
It's like
How we kept
time
taking
travel.
rights, but ended up there.
yeah,
You would think we would have made a circle.
right.
Yeah.
All right. That's about it. We'll see you guys on the next one.
Yes, sir. You have a great day. Bye.
Oh,